Hello, welcome to the Oswald Game. I'm your host, Rob. Welcome to Stream Street Day. Bleh. That many days. I'm in lockdown 7, the electric boogaloo of lockdowns. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Hello to... I agree absolutely with Torian. Owen's not here, so we should all turn the stream off. That is the first thing that we should do. Morning to everyone in the chat. Daniel Brisby, Marcus Rock. Torian, we do need an Owen emote as soon as we hit partner. We've been waiting now for 2 weeks. We've got to get those numbers up. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Burn the Tail, Born Again Manchild, Mr. Sneezy, Westy Fox. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's push the numbers as high as possible so that obviously we can hit partner. And then we can have all the emotes. You unlock something like 25 emotes. So we can have Owen, we can have Stonks. There are loads. Hopefully loads of emotes. Anyway, thanks for everyone listening to the podcast. Hope you're well. Please do stay hydrated, all my hydro homies. Hello to MJ Pegasus, Darker Design, Grinaldi. Can make a shout out to the Middle-earth players for generating all of the data so Games Workshop made an FAQ. Good job, guys. Well done to our Middle-earth brothers. If you are a Middle-earth player, well done on generating more data than Age of Sigmar was able to generate, therefore facilitating an FAQ, which I think is great, great work there. Rob Kelly, what up? Hello, Jordan Krunis. Oh, this is going to be good. Yeah, Miss Sneezy. I usually log on YouTube, but here for once. Thank you, Miss Sneezy. Appreciate that. You need a Slaanesh emote, lol. We'll get one. We'll get all of them. Nathan Prescott emote. It's going to go on for days. Musaka Koala, thank you for subscribing, resubscribing, and thank you to Hawkeye for joining us in the chat. Owen Jackson. I see Owen Jackson in the chat at least. Let's go. Okay. So it's the day before Meneth readeth booketh. It's also the day before Meneth, who get free copies of bookeths, tell us their opinions that are 100% not biased. So super cool. Waiting for those. You've been into a sales room and asked someone how good a thing is, and the salesman's like, "This is brilliant." You're like, "I probably don't trust you," which is why they have reviews on things. Did anyone else see the cool video on the pros using 3D printers to shrink the size of wargaming and saving money, time, and space? Pretty damn appealing. Born Again Manchild, I did see that. It's pretty interesting, actually. Hey to Hulkster, the 13, thank you for resubscribing. Oh, man. Jug PLC, thanks for donating £5 to the show. Woo, JJ, what up? The Readerino, Spoilerino. Oh, Jug PLC, thanks, buddy, for donating a £5 to the show. All of this money is going on printer supplies, so I can print out awesome terrain. Which is what that's going to, so I appreciate all of you. Oh, and Professor Mork, thank you for subscribing as well. Professor Mork, where is Professor Gork, is the real question, or did Professor Mork kill him? Right, okay. Really appreciate all of you. That's lovely start to the show. Right, let's get this started. Any other questions, and we'll talk about it after. Let me go over and get my first image. Oh, need to make this a little bit bigger. Sigvald. So we've started to see some leaks, which is fun. We're going to talk about these a little bit today. Obviously, we don't know all the information, so we're just here for hot takes. Yeah, that's what I want to see from the chat. Hot takes. Mandolis, how is it the Italian leaks were more informative than a week of Warcom articles? Watch, Emmy, thanks for donating 145 bits to the show. Appreciate that. Can't wait for the accent. Right, okay. Let me tell you what's on this, because I'll translate it. But I will, if you want, do the description in Italian. If anyone would like me to do this. The first person to say yes or no in the chat, I'll go with it. Do the Italian accent? Yes. Okay. So, Sigvald, Principe di Slaanesh, è un personaggio con nome e un singolo modello. È amato con sciagara, teleganti e con los cucipico. Nailed it. Nailed it. So I think that means Sigvald is not what we were expecting. Subscribe. Okay. All right. Maybe the hand will just do. Okay. Maybe I won't do that in the future. Yeah, Torian, he's 6 wounds unless MS3 changes. Look out, sir, he's going to die. Also, if he's over 200 points, he's just under the light of Voltharian. Thank you to Brookins for subscribing. Was it the Italian accent that made you... Oh, no, Musaka Koala gifted a gift subscription. Appreciate that. Okay. Right, so, yeah, let's talk about this. He's only movement 6 base. Only movement 6 base. He has got 6 wounds, he's got 3 up save, which is weird. We weren't expecting... I thought he would be bigger. Oh, W. Soren, thank you for donating £4.20 to the show. Oh, man, appreciate that loads and loads. Yeah, my last 3 orders are now held by German customers. If they should decide that is my duty to pay taxes, of course, I'll just have them return them and get my money back. Oh, sorry, Eric Latter, I didn't know what that was in reference to. Yeah, 6 wounds, 3+ armor save, and then, yes, of course, he has a 4+ DPR. 4+ DPR, so he's going to ignore wounds on a 4+. So 3 up save, 4 up ignore, right? So it does equal 12 wounds. Thank you, Granaldi. Thank you, chat, for pointing that out to me, which is pretty solid. Decent. Obviously, you're going to immediately skip that 4 up if you're going to take some mortal wounds, and hopefully that 4 up's going to do it. Hey, Dan Brook, listening while doing some physio. Nice. Hope you're well. However, so yeah, tanky, which is nice. Tanky, which is lovely. But not the cheapest model in the range. Now, he's got some special rules which are quite cool, right? So he starts out with his weapon, which is, by the way, the Seggiataglienti, not a noodle. Not a type of noodle. It's a 1-inch range weapon, and then it's got a star, or as the Italians will say, a V di sotto. That hits on a 2, wounds on a 3, is Ren 2, and it does D3 damage. Now, the important rules that I've read so far about it are that it is 5 attacks base unless, so this is the Italian translation, it's in there, it's 5 attacks base unless his charge roll is higher than 5, in which case he gets the number of attacks based on his unmodified charge roll. He also, thank you to Gobert, he also charges... he also gets to strike first, right? Yeah, he does. He dies by Trogloth Grip. I'm happy about that, says Nezel. Yeah. So he's going to get 5 attacks base. So 5 attacks, 2s, 3s, Ren 2, D3 damage. And of course, one of the things we haven't talked about a moment ago is the Slaanesh ability. So we in melee, if you are a Hedonite of Slaanesh, which is a change. So one of the changes in this book is that Hedonites of Slaanesh now. They generate 2 hits. Is it 2 or 3? Oh, double check. 2 or 3 hits on 6s to hit, which they previously did. So that is, yeah. Important rule is that he can be crushing grip by a Trog and then pissed on says He can. A lot of Troggoth guys very happy he can be crushed on. 8 wounds, ego size, reality 6 wounds. It's like looking in a mirror, says the blade. He gets +3 to his charge rolls as well. Thank you very much, Adias Knight. Yeah, he's super choppy. So +3 to his charge rolls. Yeah, and of course, because he Knights the Slaanesh, he's going to generate extra hits on 6s to hit. And so if he rolls really well on his unmodified charge roll, let's say 10, it's going to be 10 attacks, generate a few extra attacks, wound on 3s, Ren 2, D3 damage. So he's a true Blender Lord. Yeah, really, really good in close combat. He can die to a bunch of different techniques, as we know. Mr. Sneezy, thank you very much for gifting gift subscription. So, really good. Ultimately, I wonder what you guys think of him in the chat, Twitch chat. I would like to know what your guys' kind of vibe is. Are you pro him? Like, how many points? Let's get a prediction going in the chat. I'm going to write this down. How many points do we think Sigvald is going to come in at? I think he's going to come in at... now, what do I think he should be and what do I think he's going to come in at? I think he's going to come in at 180 points. What do I think he should be? Maybe like 240 points. No fly, 6-inch move, big base, pass. Agreed. And I thought it wouldn't really cool model, Rob Kelly. 240 says Dreadwoods. 280, 190 says Fake Pegasus. Wow. JBM says 230. A Real Polygeek says 80 points. Got to push up as a crack. 230, 69 Nick. I agree with you. 260 says Martin Orlando AOS. 265. 260 is a bit rough. Okay, 260. So not many of you thinking he's going to be sub 200, and most of you think he's going to be 240 to 260 is the general sort of decision on the range there. So interesting, 260. 240 is what Godrak is actually worth, so 190, 210 is fine. Yeah, so I think he's going to be I think 180. He's got 6 wounds, for fuck's sake. He's got a 4+ DPR, Owen. But yeah, he's gonna fall apart to skinks, anything else. So yeah, he's cool. He's a cool piece. It's a bit like the Light of Altharion. Let's talk about the Light of Altharion for a minute, from the Lumineth Realm Lords. Obviously, they do brilliant. He's a brilliant combat blender lord in that army. Pointed cheap. He just never really makes it into lists because he doesn't really bring enough to the table, and it's all about bodies on the board, which is going to be rough. Oh yeah, of course, one of the things I did forget to mention, of course, that he ignores the enemy DPR. So he ignores any ward saves that your opponent has. Okay, now, will that work against Morathi? No, because of the wording. Again, Italian translation, but because of the wording on Morathi's War Scroll, ignoring those saves isn't going to work. Yeah, because she doesn't ignore saves, she just can only take that many wounds. There's no command ability on him. Good point, Prop Joe. Actually, let's talk about that. So he's going to ignore those saves. So into Phoenix Guard, he's going to kill quite a few Phoenix Guard. If he gets a good old charge off, then probably dies. Back. Who else are a major issue with DPR saves? Fire Slayers. He's going to kill quite a few Fire Slayers, and then they're going to kill him back, which I think is going to be important. Hey, Prop, I don't think you missed much. Scraggy has 6 wounds. So yeah, you go, Nathan Prescott, you go. Scragrot, he's got the same amount of wounds as Scragrot, which is going to bring me on in a minute. Don't make me start on the Blissbarb Archers, because I am triggered about the Blissbarb Archers. Okay, so he ignores those saves as well. We don't have a leak on the Fat Lad yet. No, he's not yet leaked. Okay, so that's Sigvald. Do we get any pros? Do we love him? Anyone love him? AOS 3 has no command abilities. No, that's not what I said. What I said was Sigvald has no command ability on his War Scroll, which is interesting. I don't think, like, the fact he doesn't have one, I think, is a big deal. He also doesn't have, I don't think he has, he can be taken in any of the factions, which I think is interesting. Age of Sigvald has no control. He also has Locus. Thank you, Gladius. Of course. Let's talk about the major changes. Hold on. Let's get this page up that none of us can read. Okay, let's talk about the Locus change. Hedonites of Slaanesh, when first released, had they had an ability for the greater demons on a 2+ to make you fight lasting combat. Eventually, FAQ to a 3+. The other demon characters got a 4+. 4+. However, that's now changed to a unit. Now, this is all of the characters, I'm pretty certain. Anyone in the Twitch chat want to correct me? Again, any of the characters can, if within an inch, on a 4+, make you not pile in. That's the change. I feel like I was slightly too mean on the internet for that become... it's only the demons, thank you. So only the demon characters. Demons and heroes. Demons and heroes have that ability. So I like it. What does everyone think? So within an inch, cannot pile in. Okay. Yes. They're demons with nets. Good. The activation wars are rubbish. I agree with Dreadwoods. It's very good in the interaction with the new Depravity generation. It favours protracted fights, as Marcus Rock. It's a good point. Fuck that. Says Slaanesh needs more than an inch. The demons are Garbo anyway. Love it. Fuck you, conga lines. Fishnetters. Is it because they're stuck in a... Owen! You've had a coffee this morning. So weaker than an Alapex. Right, yeah, loads to... hello to Tom Layton. Big love to you. Why are all the Fire Slayer hate? There's no hate. Right, so... Derpanets. Okay, let's talk about it. So the Idoneth Deepkin, and also let's talk about Games Workshop's, it seems, fascination with piling in. They were like, look, we've done the activation wars. No one really liked it. Like, people seem to not like it when we fuck around with activating and not activating in combat, so we'll stop that. And instead, we'll make it so you can't pile in. Because that's not activating. You just can't do anything when you get there. Thank you very much to the new subscriber, first time here, Poro Clabodia. I've definitely said that wrong, but I appreciate you being here. That's lovely. Welcome to the Piling Wars. Thank you, Jordan. That's what it's now called. Welcome to the Piling Wars, which doesn't sound like good at all, if I'm honest. Like, hey, babe, what's going on? Why are you stressed out about your game? It's the Piling Wars, babe. They're just stressing me out. Okay, that's fine. 4+ anything is pretty lame, says ZipZapRap. I agree. I agree. So 4+, like, at the end of the day, it's a 4+. The reason it works so well when it was a 2+ for those demon players is they could all but guarantee it. Obviously, sometimes they would come a cropper, but sometimes they would have the ability to, with the epitome, would have the ability to, like, double stack that chance to stop make you activate last. In this situation, like, I don't care, like, at all. Like, I think it's a rubbish ability. Now, that's just my first... I read it this morning, so I've had but an hour to... So if anyone's got a good, long-winded reason as to why they think it's good, but, like, and I don't mind that it's rubbish, ultimately. Like, the Locus is just, like, a free thing, whatever. I guess it's one of your key abilities, but, like, give a shit. So I don't care. Like, I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's... I mean, you could stop a piling, cool. Like, cool. What if I just charge you, like, with a big old charge and surround you? Like, sometimes it's going to stop, like some, like, bad charges, which, you know, I haven't got quite enough guys, but I'm going to roll a few more around. That's going to be useful half of the time. But it's not something reliable that you can do something with it. If you charge into a flank and they do 4+, you can basically avoid any damage back at you. But Sergeant Rolf, I don't see how that's... Because... it depends. Like, if you have a line, so you have a straight line and they charge the line, I mean, what were they even piling into you anyway? Like, 3 dudes? Like, if it's like 25mm bases or something? Maybe? So you're stopping 3 more dudes piling in? Like, you're right. In the right situation, it's not going to be good. But your opponent has to... Like, your opponent knows as well. He's like, oh, you could do that thing, so I just won't do this. I mean, which scary units does it bother? Skinks, not too bothered about them. Like, they're not going to pile in enough to get them around. Like, who does it worry? Is my question. Hey, Procolabedia, long-time lurker. I usually listen to the show at YouTube at 2 times the speed. Activation will suck. At least models are nice. Oh man, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate that. That's still like 20 attacks from Hearthguard Berserkers. Tub, I agree. It's not a bad ability if they can snipe out a model. Says Hawkeye. It's not reliable, but it'll mess things over for a whole game. Says Go BR. 3-inch pile-in, 2-inch range, Phoenix Guard. It's huge. On Phoenix Guard. Like, on Phoenix Guard, when they're charged on a 4+. Sharks, at range, like, Sharks, reliably at range before you charge, I'm into it. I charge in, and I hope... Nah. It's not something you're playing into. I'm not saying it's not coming up in games. I'm not saying it's not happening in games. I'm just saying that I'm not saying it's not going to affect games. I definitely think it will. Is it something that people are going to play into? People like they did with the old Locus, which has to be my comparison. Like, I'm not going to compare apples and oranges. I'm not going to compare it to Blood Tithe. How does it compare to old Locus? Very different. I mean, you could even charge in with old Locus on a 3-up, they're going to strike last. It's pretty reliable. I mean, when it was a 2+, obviously, it was a huge mistake, but that's how the playstyle really emanated. Apparently, it's not good against Yetis, with the anti-Yeti meta. So, yeah. Much like the 18th charge on the War Chanters. So, yeah. Really, really great for cover units charging corners. Okay. Does it stop the Ghoul King attacking again? Good point, Diadrin. So, it will stop him if the Ghoul King hasn't killed the thing that has Locused it, because it's an inch. Yeah. So, we'll see. Right, so, that's the Locus. Huge change. Loads to talk about. And maybe, listen, let's put a pin in it. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd love to hear some, like, if you're in the YouTube comments, or if you're on Twitter, or Discord, or wherever you want to send me a long-ass message for why you think it's really useful, I'd love to hear it. Like, I always want to take your opinions on board as well. That's my initial take. Okay, right, so, the next thing to talk about is Depravity. again, a huge issue that we had previous. And to quote Vince, because I think it's worth bringing up now, well, the reason the army played the way the army played was because all the characters had the strongest ability with the old Locus, and of course, all of the characters generated your summoning points, so whether either by doing damage or being killed, so why wouldn't you have loads of characters? And so you had a very mono-build army. It's a really salient point, yeah, and it really did structure how the army played. I think it's super fair. However, 40k all the way says, hey, I've got a question. Is Sigmar of Sigmar a male? So he's a god, or it's a god. So actually, whatever he wants to be, who knows? And if you want Sigmar to be man, woman, beast, child, then it's your world. You do what you want. There's no. It's a fantasy world, brother. So you can do what you like. Right, the Locus has gone from getting its dirty ass eaten to eating dirty ass. Take my hat off. One sec. Holy fuck. Whew. Give me the hot flushes. Okay. Red Strike, Stonehorns don't care about it. Right, let's talk about the summoning. So the summoning has had a major change, right? Previously it was your characters did wounds or took wounds. That is where you would summon your Depravity points. So Depravity points have changed, and it is in the Battle Shock phase. So at the end of the Battle Shock phase. Simple, yeah. And I think this is for both players' turns. But anyone want to correct me at the moment? What you do is you take if a unit has taken a wound or removed a model, that's one Depravity for you. Whoosh. Easy peasy. If you do it multiple times, so let's say you do 10 wounds to one unit, that's one Depravity. However, let's say you do 10 wounds to 10 different units, that's 10 Depravity. Simple, easy, not very complicated at all. Yeah, super simple. And the Battle Shock phase, which units took, so it's really good against MSU, maybe makes your army want to play MSU because it also is going to affect your army as well, right? So that's a lot of Depravity you could potentially summon. And so make shooting in the army great. It makes shooting, I was about to come to that most in power, and that's a really solid point. Because, of course, one of the things that we're seeing with this Slaanesh release is a lot of shooting. Whether or not that shooting will be excellent, some small arm shooting could be very devastating in this situation. Yeah. So there is, yeah, of course there are ways, as Owen is going to say, and there's lots to unpack here. Number one, they've got shooting. So if we just talk about the combat game, yeah, there's going to be some Depravity generated here and there. Cool. We'll ignore that. I charge in, I kill most of a unit, they do a wound back to me, that's 2 Depravity. It's pretty good. However, there are ways that you could get loads. For instance, this archer unit just pings a shot over there, this archer unit pings a shot over there. Maybe maybe we do an endless spell. Don't know if this is true yet and is okay, but I could do an endless spell through my own army and generate some Depravity. The reason this is important is because the points to summon stuff, again, have become pretty stupid. That was one of the problems that we had in the last book, that they were too low, and the reason that they are low again this time, like they are low again, it's dumb good. So, what bonus do I get in Depravity if I wear my leather chaps is a great question. From me, +5 straight away. You play Slaanesh against me and you wear some leather chaps, I'm going to give you 5 Depravity before we get started, and a slap on the ass. Right, so yeah, so if you guys can see on the board there, a Keeper of Secrets is 12 points. 12 points. I thought they'd sold enough Keepers of Secrets, like Darker Design is saying in the chat, but apparently not. The crazy thing is 30 Demonettes for 12 points. That's really fucking good. Like, really, really good. So, I mean, 30 Demonettes are never going to be good. 30 bodies on the board. And let's talk about those. We'll get to the Archers in a minute, because we've only seen one War Scroll for the Archers. But the Archers seem really, really pro. They've got a lot of shots, basically. Oh, let's just jump over to it really quick so I can just show you for a second. Hold on. So, yeah, if you look at the Archers, they've got 2 attacks each. Oh, no, that's not the Archers. Sorry, the Archers are somewhere else. Oh, I haven't got the image. But the Archers have got 4 wounds. Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. 4 wounds, 3 shots. They've got a lot of shots. Yeah, basically. The Blissbarb Archers. And so, I think that they're going to be able to take out, like, they're just going to do wounds into the army. Like, you take a wound, you take a wound, you take a wound. And so, ultimately, those 30 Demonettes are going to be very summonable very, very, very quickly. It's hilarious that 3 Fiends are only 8 points. Contorted Epitome is 9. 20 Demonettes is 10. But you're going to summon that so quickly. It's going to be wild. So yeah. Sales arguments are relevant. It's also in Germany anyway. Sales arguments are always irrelevant because if they knew what they were doing, I mean, why would they want to sell loads more Keepers and not sell loads more of Bloodthirsters, which they've never sold any of? I mean, they've sold some, but anyway. Okay, so what do you all think of the summoning, is the question. What do you think of the Depravity change? What do you think of the change, which is significant, and what do you think of the points table? It's significant. Since you summon at the end of the movement and you don't score Depravity until the end of the turn, wouldn't the low points of summoning be justified, says Mandollies? Maybe, but if it's only at the end of your turn, if it's only wounds done in your turn, then it's significant. However, if in your opponent's turn, let's say, they hit you, you can generate a bunch of Depravity, you can still summon. So I would think, yes, you can't guarantee you're going to get a turn 1 summon, maybe. But later on, again, 30 Demonettes for 12 points seems significantly good. Significantly good. Has to be played out, but I feel like that's the strength. Summoning a Keeper, I'm less bothered about. The 30 Demonettes, I'm more bothered about, because that's some big scoring objectives there. Less broken than the previous book at release, but still bent as anything, says Tubbs. I agree with you. Change is good. Points seem way too low. Good. I think Depravity is easy to handle, and agreed. If I post Slaanesh, I wouldn't want their damage focused. I would want their damage focused on 1 or 2 units as Draconda. Yeah, so you kind of want to focus down a single unit and not give them loads of points. The problem is if they play to generate their Depravity. So, like we talked about with the Archers, if they take a bunch of MSU Archers looking just to ping wounds every time, let's just say you took 3 times 10 Blissbarbs, yeah, and you were just pinging wounds, that would be 3 a turn without really too much effort. And that's if you only did that with the army. And that's already going to, I think that's pretty good. Sounds like summons are cheap but hard to get the points unless doing shit-ass shooting build, says Swaggy. I assume, I don't know, spreading damage is traditionally bad tactics, so if they go max Depravity, they're probably going to struggle in the game, says Colonel Cabbage. I agree. I guess it's cool, maybe it's a good ability, but it does let them play the game. Yeah, that's a good point. Planchette, they could split fire. That's another good point as well, into multiple units. So you could have 1 unit of Archers looking to just shoot into 2 different units, maybe 3 different units in the right situation. And so you could generate a load of Depravity in that way. We don't know, for instance, if you could do something like take a Burning Head, is a good example I've seen already. Run that over a unit of, say, 3 times 10 Blissbarbs. That'll generate you 3 Depravity because you've wounded 3 units. Then those 3 units of Blissbarb shoot, and that'll generate you 6. So that's already got you halfway to 30 Demonettes. But that's probably quite expensive, but we'll see. Yeah, 1 big Archer unit gets the double Exploding 6s. Bearded Caveman TV. So the Exploding 6s don't affect. So the ability for Exploding 6s doesn't work other than in melee. Doesn't work in shooting. So it's not going to affect him. Right, so interesting. These changes. Be fun to see how it all pans out, obviously. I don't know if anyone's got the Blissbarb Archers. I thought I had it up here, sorry. Let me go find it. So, the Blissbarb Archers. Oh, dear. Now, I am going to be a right mardy little shit about this. Because, and I think it's okay to want to... hold on. Let me just go find it. Oh. Definitely don't want to do that. Right. There we go. The Seekers. The Blissbarb Seekers. That's what we're going to talk about. So, they move 14 inches. They can run and shoot. So, these are the Archers atop the Fiends. This isn't the War Scroll that's up right now. They're only Bravery 6, which is quite useful. But they move 14, and they can run and they can shoot. And their shooting is 18 inches. 18 inches. And it's 3 shots each. So from my little brick of 5, I'm going to be getting 15 shots, hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s, rend 1. That's right, rend 1, damage 1, which is pretty nuts. They obviously suck in a fight. They've got 3 attacks, which are like 4s and 4s basically. Although they've got 1 attack that's 4s and 4s, and 2 attacks that are 3s and 3s. But they're a really solid shooting unit. However, The main kind of thing, 100 points, get ready. This is the thing that's going to blow your mind. Thank you. Yeah, they are a 35-inch threat. They're 4 wounds each. I get it. A lot of people, like, I made this comment earlier, and someone was like, yeah, Rob, they're big models. But they're 4 wounds each. Do you take them in 3s? Is it a unit of 3, not a unit of 5? Is the question. How big is the unit, actually? I don't know if it's 4s or 3s or 5s. I thought we saw a box of 5, didn't we? Unit of 5. Thank you. I thought so. So, yeah, a unit of 5. So that's 4 wounds each. That's 20 wounds. They've got a 5-up armor save. Okay? And they're bravery 6. But 20 wounds. They're more wounds than a Chaos Knight. Which I don't understand at all. I'm like, what the fuck? Honestly, that really, really upsets me because I don't understand what the purpose of that at all is. That's just a me thing. That's like an instinctive reaction. Like, I look at them, because apparently the way the rules are done, it's the way that it was always explained to me, it's the way that they justify it on TV. They look at a model and they go, how many wounds will that have? And they're like, oh, it'll have this many wounds. And you're like, cool. And it's like, okay, what about these other things that are in the game? It's like, yeah, it's the same as that. So these boys are a wound bigger than a Chaos Knight. Like, a wound less than Gore Grunters. Aren't Eels 4, they're super weedy too. That's a good point, but I basically think that whoever was doing Eels was having just a rough time, is all I'm going to say. Similar size man. Okay, yeah, I don't know. It's just something about it made me think, why the hell is it 4 wounds? It really bothered me. You guys can not be bothered about that. That was the only thing that bothered me. Everything else, I'm like, whatever. It's a very fast cavalry unit, like you say. They're 18-inch range, so if they actually want to shoot, though, they've got to be in pretty close to combat range. 18 inches isn't very survivable. So, yes, they've got a good threat range, which is super useful for them. Obviously, they can hide at the back, they can run down a flank, or they could just run super fast, and then they can fire. But once they're in shooting range, they're also in danger close range, so that you can charge them, beat them up. So I think that's pretty useful as well. But as we've talked about, you're going to have 15 shots out of these guys, which are 4s and 4s, Ren 1, doing 1 damage. So if you wanted to, you can maybe split this unit up. This unit could be a source of 1, 2, maybe 3 Depravity in a turn, which is quite nice. So I do wonder what you guys think. So if 5 are shooting at a hero with Lookout Sir, they will get 2.65 wounding shots before saves, says Draconda. Afternoon, gents. Hey, Garbawaki. Do they do mortal wounds? Oh, yes, of course. I forgot to say that. They also do mortal wounds on 6s to wound. They've got a 5-up armor save. So 20 wounds with a 5-up armor save. They do mortals to wound on 6s to wound. Not in addition, so it ends sequence. So 6s to wound are going to cause a mortal wound. So, yeah. Interesting to see whether or not we see them taken. Because ultimately, I can't really think what their utility might be. I like the idea of them potentially running forward, doing some shots, tagging a unit because they're super fast. But it does make me realize that, of course, there's a combat version of these guys. Yeah? So there's a combat version of these. So there's the guys who are going to be mounted who aren't the archers. So they're going to be 14-inch move. They're going to have run and charge. And I imagine that they're going to be pretty great in a fight. And I mean, the mount isn't too bad. The mount's got 2 attacks, 3s and 3s, no rend. So you're talking 10 attacks there, better than a Chaos Horse sort of thing. So that's like a nice additional sort of 10 attacks. But the guys on top that are going to smash, ooh, baby. I'm excited to see what their War Scroll does. If they're cheap and fit in a battalion, there will be a great MSU skirmish, and that plays into the new Depravity game. Pete, I agree. They were also a great unit for running forward, capping an objective, letting your opponent letting your opponent charge them off an objective, and then charge in and countercharge. So there'll be a great trading piece, ultimately, which I think is good. So the mount is a Chaos Warrior. We don't know what the mount is going to be like yet. We haven't seen the guy on top. Which is fine. Yeah, okay, yeah. Like if they're shooting against like a -1 to hit army, or they're made -1 to hit, it does depend on their points. What does everyone think their points should be? Because they're a weird place, right? You kind of want them to have 2 wounds each, and just have all that output like, you're going to be paying for the 4 wounds apiece. Don't forget, Morsar Guard are 180 points. Okay? Something to think about. Ishlan are less. So, Torian 160. Probably 200. I think, Mostin, you're up there. 180, Owen reckons. 60 to hit, give 2 shots. No, 60 to hit, don't give 2 shots, Mandollies. That only works in melee. 175, Tubbs, knowing... yeah, baby. 150, 160, Zircon, yes! Ziggy, what's going on? It's still at twice the price. Fucking so, yeah. 140, they aren't strong. Oh, okay. 140 would be horrible. 20 wound little brick that I can just put anywhere I want for 140. I'll take that. 150. Okay. All right. So then the Shard Speaker, if I've got this right, is a wizard, and the